Hello, I'm Ben from Walford Weekly, and this week we are looking back at the fairground disaster episodes that were recommended to me in the comments. The year is 2004. Dirty Den is back from the dead, Alfie Moon is running the Queen Vic, Sharon's sleeping with her stepbrother, and Walford are holding their first, and most likely last, Funfair in the square. What could possibly go wrong? The first thing that I noticed in the opening shot isn't the ominous smoking dragon used to build tension that isn't really there, but it was that god-awful alarm/screaming sound that keeps ringing throughout the episode.
Nothing, it's nothing.
You're getting dizzier than me.
Gorgeous.
Link, cop a load of this one. It's what I'm going to look like if I don't know if the old beer and buys.
Nice.
No, everything's Christian.
The first warning signs of terror is this man dressed as the Grim Reaper, not that he has to do much work by the end of it, being warned about a dodgy fuse box, mixed in with shots of the scaffolding creaking and bending while children run up the slide, quickly followed by Sonia Fowler at the top of the slide saying how this is supposed to be a happy day for her and Martin before they set off on their honeymoon.
It's supposed to be happy, then waving us off. Me looking gorgeous, little red face from yellow.
We've got quite a few B-plots running in these set of episodes where Dot and Pauline are going head to head in a bake sale, each trying to raise more money than the other for charity. Everyone seems to be much more interested in Dot's cake over Pauline's fruit cake, recipe from Lou Bill might I add.
Here, Mo, do you want a piece of this? It's me mum's recipe.
No thanks, Pauline. Fruitcake plays havoc with me farmer.
And that doesn't go down well with Pauline at all. We have Lynn Hobbs, who recently announced to the Square that she is pregnant, and she mentions this, about 50 times in the episode, about just how important this baby is to her and Gary.
The midwife looked at my bum. She thought it looked a bit small. And no. So to be on the safe side, she did an ultrasounds. No.
We've got Zoe moping around upstairs in the Vic, like she always does, feeling sorry for herself because she doesn't trust Dennis around Sharon. Now, given Sharon's track record, I wouldn't trust her either. We also have Jane's first appearance here as an angry customer to Ian, and surprise surprise, they just don't get along. I'm going to fast forward quite a bit now, as this episode is just full of fluff and filler, which really isn't that interesting. But by the time Spencer decides to take a turn on the slide of doom, with Peterbilt up there after Lucy just going down, they are both at the top, and the scaffolding doesn't hold up with Lynn sitting at the cafe right underneath the slide. The whole dragon slide comes crashing down right on top of her, and also the car lot where Pauline and Dot are holding their cake sale. The one good thing to come from the collapse is the alarm sound has now stopped. But the bad news, all of Dot's cakes have gone to waste. The first few possible casualties of the episode are Lynn, Spencer, Ian and Peter, with Dot and Pauline trapped and having to work together to get free, while at the same time, as you'd expect, still managing to slag each other off while doing it.
What are you going to do next? Do your hair?
But at least Dot's always got a fag in her hand in case of an emergency.
You're a nurse, aren't you?
Sort of.
I've got at least 2 people trapped, countless cuts and bruises, and who knows what else I could really do with your help.
Sonia, who we all know now of course as the Queen of the NHS, starts her career here by being the one who single-handedly heals and sees to all the extras of Walford.
The paramedics will be here soon. I don't want you to panic. I'm going to give you a tablet and I want you to chew it.
We have Den acting as the man of the moment, saving children's lives left, right and centre, and taking control of everyone, just like it's an everyday occurrence to him. He stays cool, calm and collected.
Over here, I can hear something.
Jane ends up finding Peter with Dennis, saving him. Also notice here when they place Peter down that Arthur Fowler is taking care of him on his bench. He really did love this place. Back to Dot and Pauline now, who are having a jolly old time talking about the good old days of Walford.
Reminded me of the good times we've had in the old days, you know, like the Jubilee.
You know, you pulled all this together, Pauline. You should be proud.
It's just that if Arthur had been here and he'd organised it would have all been perfect.
They reminisce of old times together, like the Queen's Jubilee and how much fun they used to have. Now they're just two bitter old women. The ambulances finally arrive when about 80% of the people have already been rescued, this being a trope of EastEnders from 1985 right until present day. Jane ends up being the one to be by Ian's side in his time of need, starting a blossoming romance with no bumps or anything bad happening down the road.
75 years later.
My little girl, out in the common. Was it you?
We get this quite sweet, nice moment here where Pauline explains to Dot exactly why she is a bitter old woman nowadays after losing everyone close to her. Remember those good old days, Pauline?
And if ever you wonder why I am the way I am, look no further than that.
Once they both get noticed by the outside crowd and saved, the only thing that seems to be on Pauline's mind is, of course, money and how Martin has now missed his flight and he most likely won't get a refund.
He's never going to get a refund now, this late in the day.
We've got Spencer being rescued, yay, and Dot and Pauline are cut out of the car lot, also rescued, and Sonia is told that she will make a great doctor one day.
You've really earned this.
Thanks.
You'll make a brilliant nurse.
And the end of the disaster arrives at a total snail's pace, where Pauline cleans the plaque on Arthur's bench, she looks around a little bit, and then smiles up into the sky as the episode ends. So, with a disaster episode, you do tend to go into them with the mindset that there might be a big death and lots of repercussions from the accident, but in reality, this must be one of the wettest ends to a big week of episodes I've ever seen. And yes, I've seen the bus crash episode of 2017, where no one dies. Most residents just go back to their normal lives within a few days. The only big storyline to come out of this, I guess, would be the Lynn Hobbs storyline of her losing her baby and then leaving the square to never be seen again and look after dogs off screen in a country house. I really can't decide if this was a good or bad thing. I mean, if this was to happen in today's EastEnders, it would have most likely been told in some sort of over-the-top glossy way with non-linear storytelling. At least two people would die. Someone like Spencer, I guess, would end up being changed for life because of the accident, and there'd be some sort of topical storyline attached to it. But back in the more sensible times of 2004, we really didn't get much out of this apart from an ongoing feeling of community helping everyone around them. And I guess when you think back to EastEnders' original message, that's kind of what it was all about. The only thing watching this is you don't really feel any peril or dread because the whole thing just comes across as non-threatening. Also, I noticed that there was quite a strange performance given by Leslie Grantham as this kind of very chilled out guy who doesn't seem to really care about what's happening around him. It just gives the feeling that he doesn't care, so why should we?
Okay, you two start clearing this stuff away. All right, you bring those benches over here so we put these people on. Chrissy Mo, take her over the community centre, set up the meeting point, all right?
So you tell me, was the fairground disaster of 2004 great, or will it just go down in soap history as this sort of forgotten memory we don't like to talk about?
Oh, me vanilla buttercream strawberry regali.
Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these episodes, and also what other episodes you might like to have me look back on from the past EastEnders. And thanks for watching this far. If you've enjoyed it, there's also some other episodes here that I've reviewed of EastEnders, such as the ones on screen right now.